The gate floated silently at the edge of the Orion Drift. It was massive, larger than any space station Earth had ever built, and shaped like a perfect circle. Made of dark metal, with strange lights pulsing slowly across its surface. No one knew who made it. No one alive remembered a time when it had not been there. Hundreds of alien species had studied the gate. Some called it a remnant of the first ones, a powerful race that vanished before history began. Others said it was a weapon or a trap or a warning. But all of them agreed on one thing: it should not be touched for centuries. The gate remained inactive. It responded to no signal, no energy, and no approach. Even the oldest and most advanced races of the galaxy could not get it to react. Ships that flew too close sometimes lost power. A few never returned. Over time, fear replaced curiosity. The gate was left alone. Then came the humans. Commander Drew stood at the observation window of the science vessel Pathfinder, watching the dark circles spin slowly in the distance. He wore a simple gray uniform, the symbol of Earth's new exploratory fleet shining on his chest. His face was calm, but his eyes showed the weight of everything he had seen. Behind him, Technician Mira adjusted the sensors. She was younger than Drew, full of energy and curiosity. Her dark hair was tied back, and her eyes stayed fixed on the readings from the gate. "It's doing it again," Mira said. "Same flicker, just like yesterday." Drew turned. "Same frequency?" "Yes," she said. "It's only happening when our systems ping it. Nothing from the Coalition ships causes the same reaction." Drew stepped closer and looked over her shoulder. The screen showed a gentle pulse in the gate's outer layer, almost like it was breathing. "Still no reaction from the AI core?" he asked. "No change. It's like it only sees us," Mira said. She tapped the screen. "Every time our ship gets within a certain range, the gate starts responding. Barely, but it's something." Drew thought for a moment. This wasn't the first strange reading since their arrival 3 weeks ago. The gate had shown signs of activity only when humans approached it, not when they scanned it, not when they tried to touch it, only when they came close enough to see it with their own eyes. He walked to the comm panel and opened a channel to the bridge. "Bring us in another 5 kilometers, he said. "Commander," the pilot replied. "Coalition Control has ordered a no-fly zone within 10 kilometers of the gate. If we break that, we risk it." "Do it," Drew said, quietly. The ship moved forward, slow and steady, round them. Dozens of ships from other species floated at a distance, keeping watch. Some were large and sharp-edged, built for war. Others were round and glowing, like drifting stars. Every eye was on the humans now. As Pathfinder crossed the 10-kilometer mark, Mira's screen lit up. "There," she said. "Major spike. Same frequency, but 10 times stronger." Drew didn't speak. He just watched the gate. For the first time, the lights on its surface began to shift. They moved inward, toward the center, like rivers flowing downhill. Then a faint hum filled the air. "Is that coming from the gate?" Mira asked. The hum grew louder, deeper, and more steady. The lights on the gate pulsed in rhythm. A line of energy sparked across its inner circle, like lightning frozen in place. Drew's hand tightened on the console. "Record everything. Start a backup in case we lose primary systems." Mira nodded and began tapping commands. Her face was pale, but her hands didn't shake. Suddenly, the center of the gate shimmered. Space twisted. Stars behind it seemed to bend, as if viewed through water. Then a ring of white light snapped into place at its core, perfectly still. "It's open," Mira whispered. All across the system, alarms blared. Coalition command ships began shouting over comms. Voices filled with panic. "Human vessel, you are ordered to disengage," one voice said. "Withdraw immediately. You do not understand what you have done." But Drew didn't move. He turned off the comm channel and looked at Mira. "Are we still stable?" She nodded slowly. "No damage. No radiation. Whatever that light is, it's not harmful." Drew stepped toward the observation window again. He stared into the ring of white light. It wasn't empty. Shapes moved inside it, slowly, like shadows behind a curtain. "Do you feel that?" Mira asked. Drew nodded. A strange warmth had entered the room, not from the ship's systems. It was something else, something that felt alive. "It's not just a gate," Mira said. "It's..." Listening, behind them, the door opened and Dr. Finn entered. He was the mission's head xenolinguist, short and sharp-tongued. He looked at the screen, then at the gate. "This is madness," he said. "They've tried everything. Energy blasts, ancient codes, mind-linked operatives. Nothing worked." Drew turned. "But we did." Finn shook his head. "And now every species in this system will blame us for waking something they feared for thousands of years. Maybe it's time someone did." Drew said. Mira looked up. "Commander, there's something else. The gate just sent a signal." "What kind of signal?" "Coordinates, a location." Drew leaned over her screen. The data showed a point far beyond any known system, deep into the dark zone of the galaxy where few dared to travel. The signal was short, but strong. "Like a path. They sent us an invitation," Mira said. Finn stepped back. "Or a challenge." Drew stared at the spinning gate and its glowing heart. For too long, humanity had been told to wait, to stay in line, to listen to those who claimed to know better. But the gate had chosen to respond now and only to them. He made a decision. "Prepare." "A drone," he said. "We're sending it through." Mira nodded and moved to the controls. Outside the window, the gate continued to shine. Waiting. The drone floated silently in the launch bay, its round body shining under the white lights. Commander Drew stood beside it with Mira, both dressed in their suits and helmets. The gate still glowed outside the main viewports. Its center remained filled with that strange white light, swirling softly like fog inside a glass. Drew looked at the drone one last time. "Send it in slow. We need full scans every second. If it comes back damaged or disappears, we stop." "Yes, sir," Mira said. Her fingers moved across the control panel. The drone lifted off the ground, hovered in the air, then turned toward the hangar door. The door opened, and the drone moved into space. It was no larger than a motorcycle, but carried powerful sensors, cameras, and a backup recorder in case the signal was lost. Everyone on the bridge watched as it drifted closer to the gate, across the system. Dozens of other ships turned their sensors toward it. Alien commanders shouted warnings, but the humans ignored them. No one else had ever gotten this far. The gate responded only to Earth's people. The drone reached the edge of the gate. For a second, nothing happened. Then its entire body passed through the light and vanished. Mira stared at her screen. "We lost signal. No data coming through." "Was it destroyed?" Drew asked. "I don't know. It just disappeared. No burst, no heat, no crash report. It's like it slipped out of range." Drew walked to the window and stared at the gate again. He knew what the others were thinking. This had happened before. Other races had sent machines and people through the gate in the past. Nothing ever returned. Some believed the gate was a one-way door. Others thought it erased anything that entered. But Drew had a different feeling. "Bring the backup feed." Online, he said. Mira opened the second channel, the one that linked to the drone's memory core. It was supposed to record everything and send it back if the drone survived for 5 minutes. The screen remained black. Then it flickered. A single frame appeared. Drew leaned closer. Freeze. Zoom in. The image was grainy, but it showed something. The drone was inside a dark tunnel of glowing symbols. The walls were smooth, like glass, but the light patterns shifted like writing. No stars, no ships. Just the tunnel and a faint blue glow in the distance. "That's not space," Mira said. "That's something else." Drew stared at the image. The symbols on the walls seemed to move when he looked away, but stayed still when he focused on them. He had never seen writing like this. "It's not a wormhole," Finn said from behind them. He had just arrived. "It's not folding space. It's creating a path through something else. Maybe time, maybe a higher dimension." "Whatever it is," Drew said, "it didn't kill the drone." He turned to Mira. "Prepare the shuttle." She blinked. "Are you serious? We came here to learn." "The drone couldn't send live data. We need to go ourselves." Finn stepped forward. You can't just step into an unknown structure from a race no one understands. Drew looked at him. It responded to us. Not the coalition. Not the RIG. Us. Mira nodded slowly. If we go, we have to be careful. No weapons. Nothing that looks like a threat. Just scanners and basic gear. An hour later, the small crew shuttle was ready. Drew, Mira, and two other crew members, pilot Ken, and scientist Rhea climbed aboard. The ship was small, made for short-range missions, but sturdy and fast. The launch was smooth. As they approached the gate, the white light grew brighter. Drew could feel it through the hull, like a low hum in his bones. No alarms sounded. The shuttle remained stable. Then, they crossed the threshold. For a second, everything went white. There was no sound, no sense of motion, just a strange stillness. Then, shapes began to appear. The shuttle drifted into a new space. It looked like a sky with no sun. The stars were twisted, and large towers floated without touching the ground. There was no real ground, just long platforms of metal stretching in every direction. What is this place? Ken whispered. Mira stared out the window. We're inside a structure, but it's the size of a planet. Drew turned on the scanners. No atmosphere, no radiation, but something is powering this place. The shuttle flew low over a long bridge that stretched into the distance. Lights followed their path as they moved forward. One of the towers nearby shifted. A piece of it turned, revealing a glowing eye. Then, something floated out of the tower. It was shaped like a person, but made of light and shadow. It had no face, just a smooth surface that reflected the shuttle's lights. It moved slowly toward them, then stopped. Drew raised a hand. Don't move. Let's see what it does. The figure hovered in place. It made no sound. Then, a pulse came from its body, and the shuttle's lights blinked. We're receiving a signal, Mira said. It's not words, it's a feeling. The crew fell silent, inside their heads. A message formed, not in language, but in emotion. It was calm, curious, and ancient. Not a voice, but something deeper, something that had been sleeping for a long time. Rhea, the scientist, looked pale. I think it's reading us, not our ship, us. The figure turned slowly in the air, then pointed toward a large doorway ahead. The lights on the bridge shifted, showing a clear path. It's showing us where to go, Mira said. Drew nodded. Then let's follow. The shuttle moved again. The figure stayed behind, watching them go. As they passed through the doorway, everything changed. The stars vanished. They entered a vast chamber, filled with glowing symbols, floating machines, and walls that looked like mirrors. One mirror flickered. Drew saw a flash of earth, blue and green. Then the image changed to ancient alien cities, then back to Earth again. They know who we are, Mira said. They were waiting for us, Drew replied. The chamber pulsed with energy, not dangerous, but full of purpose. The machines around them shifted, turning their surfaces toward the humans. In the center of the room stood a tall platform with a single stone resting on top. The stone glowed softly. It was shaped like a triangle, but its edges shimmered with color. Drew stepped off the shuttle and approached it. Commander, are you sure? Mira asked. They brought us here. This is why. He reached out and touched. The stone died in that moment. The gate back in the Orion drift pulsed with light again. Ships across the system reported a sudden surge in energy. Coalition leaders panicked. Alarms rang across stations. But inside the strange space beyond the gate, the lights simply grew brighter, and the path ahead began to open. The moment Drew touched the glowing stone, he felt something deep inside his chest. It was not pain. It was not fear. It was like something had recognized him. A wave of warmth passed through his body, and the lights in the great chamber changed color. They turned from white to soft blue, then to gold. Mira watched from the shuttle. Commander, your vitals just spiked. Are you okay? Drew nodded slowly. I'm fine. I think it accepted me. The platform beneath the stone began to shift. It rose slowly, revealing a set of stairs made from light. Symbols hovered in the air around it. Each symbol changed shape as the crew looked at them, becoming clear to their minds. The symbols formed messages, not in spoken words, but in meaning. One phrase stood out the most. Mira spoke it aloud. Welcome, chosen from the young fire. Ken blinked. What does that mean? Rhea, still seated at the scanner panel, looked up. It's talking about humans. We're a new race, still growing, still learning, but full of something the others have lost. Drew stepped back onto the shuttle. Let's move forward. I want to know what's at the end of this. As the shuttle glided over the glowing floor, the chamber opened into a wide path filled with floating machines. They were silent, still, and shaped like long metal birds. Each one had carvings that looked far older than any language the crew had studied. Their designs were not from this part of the galaxy. They're not just machines, Mira said. They're part of the structure. The path led them to a new room. This one was larger than a city. In the middle was a pillar reaching from floor to ceiling, spinning slowly. Around it, energy flowed like water. On the walls, images appeared scenes from across the galaxy. Some were peaceful. Others showed war. Some images had humans in them. That made no sense. These are not memories, Rhea said. They're predictions, timelines, futures. Ken pointed at one image. It showed Earth surrounded by alien fleets. The planet burned. But then a new light appeared, pushing the fleets back. The light came from a gate, and human ships flew through it. Is that a warning? Ken asked. Or a plan? Drew said. Suddenly, the floating machines around them began to move. They rose and circled the shuttle like guardians. The lights grew brighter. Then, a figure appeared in the air, shaped like the one they saw earlier. But this one was larger. Its form was made of golden light. It had no face, but its presence filled the room. A voice entered their minds, calm and ancient. You are not the first to find this place, but you are the first to be welcomed. Drew stood tall. Who are you? The voice answered. We are the echo of the first ones. This place was not built for your kind. It was built for minds that are now gone. But your kind carries the spark. Mira, step forward. Why now? Why respond to humans? The figure paused, then answered. Your thoughts are open. You reach without fear. You question without limits. That is why the gate answered you. Rhea asked, where are the first ones now? They are beyond this galaxy, beyond matter. They left their knowledge here for those who would one day rise with both wisdom and will. Drew looked at the floating machines. Are these weapons? They are tools. They serve the chosen. They do not conquer. They restore. Mira asked the next question carefully. Why did the gate stay silent for so long? The others who came before you desired control. They brought greed and fear. They were not ready, so the gate slept. Drew took a deep breath. What happens if we accept this, if we take what you offer? The figure replied, then you will walk a path with power and danger. You will awaken what sleeps. Some will rise to follow you. Others will try to destroy you. A silence filled the chamber. Outside, the gate in normal space began to glow brighter. Across the system, alien ships powered up their weapons. The Coalition had detected the gate opening again. They feared what it meant. On the human command ship Pathfinder, alarms rang as dozens of ships aimed at them. Multiple lock-ons, the pilot said. The Coalition thinks we triggered a system we don't understand. They want us to shut everything down, said the officer on duty. If we don't, they might fire. Back inside the ancient chamber, the figure began to fade. You must choose now, it said. If you walk forward, there is no return. Drew looked at his crew. Mira's eyes were steady. Ken nodded. Rhea didn't speak, but her expression was clear. We choose to go forward, Drew said. The chamber shook gently. A platform rose from the floor, carrying a small sphere of light. Mira reached out and touched it. The moment she did, her eyes widened. I can see it, she whispered. The system, the network of gates, it's everywhere. They're connected across the galaxy. She placed the sphere inside a secure container on the shuttle. This is a key, not just for one gate, for all of them. The shuttle turned back, following the path they had come. The glowing walls slowly dimmed behind them, as if the place was going back to sleep. When they passed through the gate and returned to normal space, they were met with tension. Coalition ships surrounded them. Warning lights flashed. Dozens of weapons were locked on. "This is Commander Drew of the Pathfinder," he said calmly. "We have returned from the gate. We are unharmed, but we are not empty-handed." The Coalition's response came fast. "Power down your ship. Prepare for boarding. You are in violation of the Orion Accord." Drew didn't flinch. "We didn't break anything. We opened what no one else could. The gate responded to us, not you. That means it was waiting for U.S. On board the Pathfinder, Mira took the key sphere to the science lab. She connected it to a secure system. The moment it touched the interface, the lights flickered. A soft hum filled the room. "It's activating something," she said. Back on the bridge, Drew watched the gate. It no longer looked cold. Its lights pulsed like a heartbeat. He knew the message was clear. The gate had opened for humanity. Not by accident, not by force, but by choice. The ancient machine had seen something in them. And now, the rest of the galaxy would too. The shuttle landed gently inside the Pathfinder's hangar. As the ramp opened, Drew walked out first. Holding his helmet under one arm, Mira followed closely. Carrying the secure case that held the glowing sphere, the key left behind by the gate, crew members watched from the sides, silent and tense. Everyone had felt the change. The gate still pulsed with energy outside the windows. Brighter than ever before, its light reached into the stars like a beacon. As Drew stepped into the hallway, the ship's first officer, Nolan, met him halfway. His face was pale, his jaw tight. "Commander, the Coalition is calling for answers. They say what you did has triggered a system-wide alarm. Their warships are in position." Drew kept walking. "Let them wait. They won't wait long," Nolan said. "They're afraid. Some of them believe you've activated a doomsday weapon." "We haven't," Drew said. "We've been given access to something far older than their empires, something they tried and failed to control." Mira placed the case on the nearest table and opened it. The sphere inside gave off a steady glow, soft and calm, like a heartbeat. Rhea and Ken stood nearby, watching as data began to appear on the screens around the lab. "This thing is linking with our systems," Mira said. "It's not trying to take over. It's trying to teach," Rhea added. "It's giving us coordinates. Locations of other gates, dozens of them." Ken pointed at the map forming on the screen. "And most of them are in places the Coalition sealed off long ago." Drew looked over the glowing display. Gates lost to time. Gates hidden behind quarantine zones. Gates deep inside war-torn systems. And now, they're waking up. Back on the bridge, the communication officer turned in her seat. "Sir, Coalition Command is demanding a live broadcast. They want a full explanation." Drew nodded. "Put them on screen." The main monitor blinked, showing a long table with leaders from various alien races. Some looked calm, others were angry. One tall reptilian commander leaned forward, his voice sharp. "You had no right to enter the gate," he said. "That structure is classified as forbidden under galactic law." Drew stood straight. "The gate responded to us. It opened only for humans. Not one of your ships managed to unlock it in hundreds of years." Another voice spoke, slower and more thoughtful. It came from a gray-skinned ambassador with 6 eyes. "We have records of what happened the last time a gate was activated. Entire systems were lost. Civilizations vanished. The first ones were not kind. They were not cruel either," Drew replied. "They were advanced. They left behind knowledge. We didn't force the gate to open. It invited us, the reptilian." Commander slammed his hand on the table. "You cannot be trusted with that power. Return the key and shut the gate down, or face the consequences." Drew stared at the screen. "No. Humanity has spent too long being told what we're not ready for. We're ready now. We made contact. We brought back knowledge. You didn't." The screen went dark. For a moment, silence filled the bridge then. Mira's voice came through from the lab. "Commander, the key just activated something else. A pulse is going out." Drew rushed back to the lab. The sphere glowed brighter, and a wave of energy moved through the ship like a soft breeze. Lights dimmed, then returned to normal. "What was that?" Nolan asked. Mira pointed at the screen. "It sent a signal through the gate, a message. Not just to this one, but to others." Rhea added, We're picking up return signals. Other gates are waking up. At least 5 have already started broadcasting on the far side of the hangar. A crew member called out, "Sir, we're receiving strange data from a deep space sector." A new gate just became visible. It wasn't there before. Drew walked back to the main window. The gate outside was still glowing, but something had changed. The light in its center now showed images, moving pictures, cities floating in space, fields of machines standing silent, structures larger than moons waiting. "It's showing us what's out there," Mira whispered. "Places built by the first ones, maybe even ships." Drew turned to his officers. "Prepare the long-range scout team. We're going to those locations." Nolan stepped forward. "Sir, the Coalition will see that as aggression if we start unlocking old technology. They'll panic. They're already panicking," Drew said. "But they had their chance. They sealed these gates out of fear. We're not afraid." Before they could speak again, alarms rang across the ship, multiple. "Coalition warships approaching," the pilot called. "They've broken formation. Weapons are hot." Drew remained calm. "Shields up. Don't fire unless fired upon." A deep voice came through the comms. It was the same reptilian commander from the broadcast. "This is your final warning. Surrender the key and power down your systems." Mira looked up. "Commander, I think the key is sending another pulse. It's not just waking up other gates. It's activating defenses." Suddenly, a flash of light appeared near the gate. A large shape emerged. It was not human. It was not from the Coalition. It was made of black metal and gold light, and it floated silently between the Pathfinder and the enemy fleet. The new ship was massive. Its design matched the style of the chamber they had seen beyond the gate. Smooth lines, glowing marks, and a shape that looked both ancient and powerful. "What is that?" Ken whispered. Ria's eyes widened. "It's a guardian. The first ones left it to protect the system." The alien warships pulled back slightly. Unsure. Then, the guardian ship sent out a signal. Not in words, but in sound, a long, deep tone. That shook every ship in the area. Systems across the fleet glitched for a second, then reset. The Coalition commanders hesitated. The warships held position. Drew saw his chance. "Mira, tell the Guardian we are not enemies." She closed her eyes and sent a signal from the key. The Guardian ship responded with a flash of light and turned slightly to shield the Pathfinder. "We've been marked as friendly," Mira said, "at least for now." Drew took a breath and looked around at his crew. "We stepped into something bigger than us, but we were accepted. That means something." Outside, the other gates continued to wake, and deep in space, ancient machines stirred from long sleep. The Pathfinder floated just outside the glowing gate, its hull gleaming under distant stars. The crew had spent days studying the strange sphere, the key they had brought back, and the signals it sent with each pulse. More gates across the galaxy began to awaken. The ancient network was coming back to life. Mira sat at the control panel, eyes fixed on the streams of data flowing faster than any human had ever seen. She tapped commands quickly, decoding the messages hidden in the energy patterns. "Commander, the signals are not random," she said. "They're broadcasts, invitations." "Invitations to what?" Drew asked, leaning over her shoulder. "To join," Mira replied. "The network wants us to connect. To unlock more gates." Ken, watching nearby, frowned. "But we're not the only ones. The Reich know this now. They've declared it a threat." Drew looked at the main screen. A new message had arrived, this one in a form no translator could decode. It was an image of a massive star system, glowing with powerful energy, guarded by giant warships. "That's their home system," Ria said quietly. "The Reich Empire." The Reich were known across the galaxy for their strength and fearlessness. They ruled many star systems with strict control. Their ships were powerful and fast. When the Reich moved, others followed with caution. Drew rubbed his chin. "If they see this as a threat, war is coming." Back on the Coalition command ship, the reptilian leaders gathered in an emergency meeting. The council was divided. Some wanted to destroy the gates before the humans could claim them. Others feared what the first ones might do if awakened fully. The leader of the Reich stood before the others. His voice was cold. The humans have made a mistake. He said, they do not understand the power they have touched. We will strike first and claim the gates for ourselves. But a younger ambassador spoke up. Destroying the gates will not bring peace, she said. If the first one's network is alive, it can choose its own path. We must try to communicate. The council remained silent. On the Pathfinder, Drew gathered his crew. We're standing at a crossroads, he said. The Reich want to fight, but we don't want war. We want knowledge, peace, and a chance to protect ourselves. Mira looked at him. We can send a message back. Maybe the network will help. Drew nodded. Prepare the transmitter. We will answer the invitation. The crew worked quickly, sending out a beacon through the newly activated gates. It carried a simple message. Humans wish to learn, not to fight. Across space, something shifted. The ancient machines at the gates began to glow brighter. Ships that had been dormant for centuries started moving again. Suddenly, a burst of energy shot from the gate nearest the Pathfinder. A wave of information flooded their systems. The ships. I struggled to keep up with the flood of knowledge, schematics, star charts, and warnings filled every screen. Mira gasped. This is a gift. The first ones left their history. Their technology. It's all here. Ken smiled. We found the lost libraries of the galaxy. But the joy was short-lived. A warning flashed in red. Unauthorized access detected. The ship's system said, Reich warships incoming. From the viewport, dark shapes appeared. The Reich fleet moved fast, closing the distance with deadly purpose. Drew's voice was calm but firm. All hands, prepare for battle. Shields up. Weapons ready. Mira whispered, the Reich don't know what they're facing. The Pathfinder was not just a human ship now. It was connected to a power far older and stronger than any race in the galaxy had seen before. The key was not only a guide, it was a source of strength. As the Reich ships fired, the Pathfinder's shields glowed bright. Energy fields shimmered, absorbing the blasts. Drew maneuvered the ship through the swirling battlefield. Mira guided the ship's systems, unlocking new capabilities the ancient technology revealed. With every pulse of the key, the Pathfinder grew stronger. The ship could move faster, react quicker, and strike harder. The Reich commanders shouted orders, frustrated by their inability to overwhelm the humans. In the heat of battle, a new signal appeared on the radar. A massive ship, glowing with golden light. It was the Guardian they had seen before. The Guardian moved between the Pathfinder and the Reich fleet. Its power was immense. It sent out a wave of energy that forced the enemy ships back. The Reich paused, unwilling to face a foe they did not understand. Drew seized the moment. Send a message. Tell them we do not want war. We want to protect the gates and the galaxy. Mira sent the transmission through the key. Seconds passed. Then the Guardian's light changed. It lowered its shields and moved aside. The Reich fleet pulled back. The battle ended. But the warning was clear. This is only the beginning. Drew said. Back on the Pathfinder, the crew knew they had awakened something greater than themselves. The gates were not just machines. They were alive, connected, and watching. And now, the galaxy had to choose. Unite and learn from the first ones, or fight and risk destruction. Drew looked at Mira. We have the chance to lead, to show what humanity can do. Mira smiled. Let's not waste it. Outside the gate, stars shone bright, and the ancient network pulsed in answer. The Pathfinder sailed through space, its hull glowing softly with the power of the ancient key. Drew and his crew had spent weeks learning from the data streams flowing through their ship. The gates across the galaxy were no longer silent relics. They were awakening, ready to serve those who understood them. Mira sat in the command center, eyes scanning the streams of information. Her fingers moved quickly, unlocking hidden functions. In ancient codes, Commander, the key is teaching us how to control the gate system. It's showing us how to travel faster, how to shield ourselves better, and even how to repair old machines. Drew smiled. We're no longer just visitors. We're becoming part of this. Ken leaned forward. The Reich fleet hasn't stopped watching us, but their attacks have lessened. I think they realize we're stronger than before. Outside the window, Stars blurred as the Pathfinder jumped through a gate for the third time in 24 hours. The journey was smooth, almost like the gate welcomed them. In the quiet moments between jumps, Drew gathered the crew. "We have to understand one thing," he said. "We're not alone in this. The first ones built these gates for a purpose. They left guardians and machines to protect the system. Some of those guardians have already accepted us," Rhea nodded. "But others may not." Mira's eyes darkened. "There are signals coming from deep inside the ancient networks. Warning messages. Some systems are still locked down and guarded fiercely." As the Pathfinder entered the next gate, they found themselves near a massive structure orbiting a dying star. It looked like a fortress made of metal and light, larger than any ship they had seen. "Rock warships are gathering there," Ken reported. "They're trying to claim it before we do." Drew ordered his crew to prepare for battle, but not to fire unless attacked. "We need to prove we're not threats, but we can defend ourselves." Suddenly, a fleet of sleek ships appeared. They were unlike any the humans had seen before. Their designs were elegant, smooth, and glowing with blue energy. They moved in perfect formation. "New allies," Rhea whispered. The new ships sent a pulse. It was a greeting, calm and peaceful. The Pathfinder's systems accepted the signal and responded. The blue fleet moved closer, surrounding the Pathfinder protectively. Their leader appeared on the main screen, a tall figure with shining skin and bright eyes. The being spoken, a voice that was clear and kind. "We are the Inari. We have watched your journey. You carried the spark the first ones left behind. You are the inheritors." Drew nodded. "We did not come seeking war. We came to learn and protect." The Inari smiled. "Then you will need help. The Rock do not understand the power they face. They seek to control, not to inherit." Over the next days, the Inari shared their knowledge. They taught the humans how to unlock more of the gate system, how to work with the Guardians, and how to repair ancient machines that could heal planets and build SDA or SHIPS. Mira felt her mind expanding with the information. She no longer saw the gates as dangerous relics, but as tools for growth and change. But even as they learned, the Rock prepared for war. One night, alarms woke the Pathfinder. Sensors detected a massive fleet approaching fast. It was the RAEK, moving to strike before the humans and Inari could fully unite. Drew called the crew to battle stations. "We don't want to destroy them," he said, "but we won't run either." The battle began in silence. Ships moved like dancers in space, avoiding attacks and striking with precision. The Pathfinder used the new technology to shield itself and to repair damage faster than before. Mira worked the systems, sending commands to the Guardians nearby. The ancient machines responded, moving to block Rock attacks and protect human ships. Ken shouted, "They're breaking formation." The Rock flagship fired a powerful blast at the Pathfinder. The shields flickered but held strong. "Return fire," Drew ordered. The Pathfinder unleashed a pulse of energy that stunned the Rock ships. It was not just a weapon. It was a signal to the ancient Guardians to join the fight. Slowly, the tide of battle turned. The Rock commanders realized they faced a force greater than themselves. The power of the first ones flowed through the humans and their new allies. Finally, the Rock fleet began to retreat. Drew breathed deeply. This is just the beginning, but we have shown them humanity's strength. The Inari leader nodded. "You have risen. The inheritors have awakened." As the stars shone brightly outside, the Pathfinder prepared for the next step. More gates awaited, and more knowledge. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was no longer the new species. They were leaders of a new age. The Pathfinder glided silently through the cold darkness of space. Outside, stars stretched endlessly, but inside, the crew was wide awake. The key to the ancient glowing sphere rested safely in the science lab, still pulsing softly. Its light like a heartbeat. Commander Drew stood by the observation window, thinking about everything they had faced. The gate had opened for humanity, and the ancient network was alive again. The galaxy was waking up, and the future was uncertain. Mira approached quietly. "Commander, we have a new message." Drew turned. "From the gates?" "No, from the Guardians. They want to meet. He nodded. Range it. In moments, the ship's systems adjusted, and a new light filled the room. Outside, a massive figure appeared. It was the Guardian ship they had met before, a giant vessel made of black metal and gold light. Moving gracefully, its form changed slowly, and a voice entered their minds, calm and powerful. "You have come far, humans. You have earned your place among the inheritors." Drew responded, "We want to understand, to protect, to help." The Guardian's light shifted. "Then you must face the trial." The crew exchanged looks. The trial was spoken of only in stories, legends passed down by the Inari and others who had studied the first ones. It was a test, one that no one had passed for centuries. Mira whispered, "It is the final step to join the ancient network fully." Drew swallowed his fear. "We accept." The Guardian ship opened a path through the gate. The Pathfinder entered. A new space bright, filled with endless stars and shifting shapes. It was not a place in normal space. It was a place between worlds, inside. They faced challenges unlike anything before. Tests of courage, wisdom, and heart. The crew worked together, using every skill they had learned. One challenge showed visions of Earth's future worlds united, technology healing the planet, humanity reaching for the stars as friends, not conquerors. Another test showed dangers, greed, war, and fear destroying everything. Drew realized the trial was not just about power. It was about choice. At the end, a glowing figure appeared. It was the echo of the first ones, the same voice they had met before. "You have chosen well," it said. "You carry the future." The trial ended with a pulse of energy. The key glowed brighter than ever before. The gate's light filled the Pathfinder, and the ancient network accepted them fully. Back in normal space, the galaxy had changed. The Coalition, the Ryak, and other species watched as the humans and their allies formed a new alliance. Together, they protected the gates and shared knowledge. Drew stood before a council of leaders from many worlds. His voice was steady. "We are no longer alone. The gates connect us all. The future belongs to those who choose to learn and protect." Mira smiled beside him. "Humanity is ready." The ancient network hummed softly through the stars. The gates were no longer barriers, but bridges, and humanity had become the inheritors, the guardians of a new dawn.